Good morning, New Thought, Northern Colorado. Hello and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here. We gather together from today, the comfort of our homes, and next week from our physical space here in Fort Collins to express love, practice radical acceptance and inclusion, and connect with one another and with spirit. Because this is a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. Our beloved Amber Davidson is holding us in prayer today as our practitioner of the day. And today we have our special guest, Reverend Dan Granda from Florida, where it is probably warmer. I'll say a little bit more about Dan in a few minutes, but I want you to settle in, sit back, take a big, deep, it's way earlier than it's supposed to be breath. And let's open with a little music from Jimmy and our beautiful band.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
I'll just take a deep breath once again. Go within with me. Today, I know absolutely that in this moment, in this time, there is nothing that is not an expression of God, expression of spirit, expression of love and compassion and peace. And when I sit in that knowing, I can know peace for this entire planet and know that we are calling in an expression of that is different from anything we have experienced before. That there is an opportunity right here, right now, in our time for peace. And so I'm going to ask you to just sit in that for a moment. And so I know right now that across time and space, as we connect, and we are connected with others around the planet, holding this same intention, this same love for the world, this same love for people in the world, that something is shifting in this day. I know that this time that we are together, this gift that we have given ourselves to be together in this community, the beloved New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living, and all of those who come together to experience and express love through this time, that we are absolutely filled and blessed by our beautiful music team, our volunteers, our practitioners, and Reverend Dan and the words that he has to share with us today. For this is a good day. And I leave room as I release this prayer. I simply leave room for the universe to absolutely blow our minds with its response to our word as we circle all of it in the arms of grace, and let it go by saying, and so it is. And so, as we do, just take that deep breath before Reverend Dan starts to speak this morning. We take those big 3 deep breaths and we touch our heart and we say together care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. And Erica, would you go ahead and bring Dan up on the screen? So Reverend Dan he's not really a newer minister anymore. He's been at it for a couple of years. Can't really give you that anymore, but he's one of my favorite newer ministers in the world.
Yeah.
He and his team, they are trying new things and creating new ways for community to come together. He says he's dedicated to fostering both personal transformation and communal evolution through an innovative bricks and clicks model. I love their work. I've been very excited about what he and his pals are doing in the world with Centers for Spiritual Living, and I'm really grateful that you stepped in to speak this morning. So
Thank you.
Welcome to Northern Colorado from Florida.
Yeah. So I'm actually in New Jersey right now, looking out the window, and it's
Okay.
like 25 and snowy.
Sorry about that. I thought
Yeah,
you were warm.
know.
I thought you were getting to be warm.
Yeah, not right
Right.
now, but that's okay. That's okay.
Well, thank you so much for being here and for the message
Yeah,
you're about to bring.
absolutely. Yeah, it's my pleasure for sure. Happy to be back. So it is fun to be back here today. And I'll say that fun feels a little complicated right now, I think, with all of the things that are going on. So it's there's this constant or consistent feeling of tension that I'm noticing that, it is definitely fun to be here right now. And that feels a little complicated. So I have a story about that I want to share with you before we kind of dive into the real meat of today's message. So for Christmas, my brother-in-law got tickets to a Tool concert. Tool is his absolute favorite band, and they hadn't been on tour for years due to COVID. So this was kind of a big deal. It was a big deal for him to get these tickets, a big deal for the band to be back out on tour, a big deal for like signs of, oh, we're doing things again. We're out in the world, gathering potentially in even large groups. And at Christmas, it was a little shaky whether that was going to actually happen. So it seemed like a really big deal on one hand, and then it was like, oh yeah, but there's this spike going on, and so we were gonna kind of wait it out and just know the best. So come early February, it turns out the person that was going to go to this concert with him now couldn't go. So he asked me if I wanted to go. The concert was at the end of the month, end of February. At that point, we were on this, downward side of this major COVID spike, and things looked like maybe this would actually happen. Maybe we can actually start doing live events. So I said, yeah, I'm in. I'm in. Let's do it. I have not really been one to feel the urge to be very people-y throughout most of the pandemic, but for some reason, I just felt really hyped and excited for this. Like, yeah, I think this is actually the time. This feels right. So I was kind of amazed at the consistent decline in the COVID numbers. We had finally made it to the week of the concert. And unlike so many other things over the past 2 years, this was actually happening. Like, there was no way this was being canceled. We were going to be in an arena with thousands of people at this rock concert, which was not something I had done for years at that point. But it wouldn't really be the early 2020s without something, right? So, bam, 2 days before the concert, Russia decides to invade Ukraine. And like so many others, I just had this overwhelming feeling and all of these thoughts like, what is going on? Is this World War III? I had thoughts of anger and empathy and compassion and disgust and sadness and guilt. With all of the things already going on in the world right now, the Don't Say Gay bill, deputizing citizens of Texas to apprehend parents and steal transgender children, banning of facts of history, just to name a few. And now there's this whole ass war. And here we are going to go to this concert. And I'm like, yeah, guilt of like, who am I to have this night out? Who am I to go to this concert and have fun? And so, like the good religious scientist, I bring this to my prayer partner the very next day. And while certainly there was still some feelings of guilt to work through and definitely some beliefs to look at, ultimately I decided, all right, I'm still in. We should go. We should just do this. It didn't really make sense why. I definitely had some things to look at, but we're going to go do this. And little did I know, but that decision would actually be life-changing, literally life-changing. Deciding to go to that concert changed my entire perception of humanity. Yes, it was a rock concert. I promise there were no drugs involved. But in the midst of all of this, simultaneously, I was also attempting to draft a Sunday talk for the next morning, the morning after the concert, on the global theme of the importance of play. Play in the midst of all of these things that are going on, all of these things that seem so heavy. And here we are, the global theme for CSL is play. And I'm like, how do you talk about play in the middle of this, all of this? What do you say? So, all right. So I go to the concert. I kind of just decided we're going to set all of this aside. I'm going to leave it all at home and just try to be present and really enjoy the moment, being there in this crowd, in the music. So the band comes out on stage, and basically, like every rock concert, there is this wall of sound that rushes over the entire arena of thousands of people. The guitars are blaring, the drums are pounding, the crowd screams, the singer screams back. It's like everything just simultaneously and collectively erupted. And I think just feeling that again, that alone probably would have been enough to be life-changing at that point. But just in that moment, the lead singer kind of calmed everything down a little bit. The band just kind of hung out on these like subdued rock tones, just like ready to go at any minute. But the lead singer just takes this moment to address not just the crowd, but to address us as people, and kind of in a way, all of us, like to address humanity itself in this very moment. He says, hey, there is some really bad stuff. Well, it was a rock concert. He didn't say stuff. There's some really bad stuff going on out there. There's some really good stuff going on out there. There's some really bad stuff, but not in here, not right now. In here, there is only good stuff going on. And immediately the entire crowd explodes, in a way that is only possible in concert crowds in this size arena. And the band kicks into their opening tune, and we were just immersed in this evening of, I don't even know that I have words to describe what. But what was amazing, what I took away from this, was that he gave every single person in that arena that night the permission to really be there, to be present, to set aside everything else just for a few hours, to literally just be. And I could feel all of my thoughts from the last few days just melting away. And what ensued after that was nothing less than this unitive melding experience of the thousands of people that were there into this one being that was part crowd, part band, and wholly human, rocking, swaying, singing, feeling, just being human together. So I have no idea how many others might really have been aware of this that night in the moment. But there was this healing, this massive healing that took place in that arena that night. And honestly, I don't even think that I realized it fully for days. And in fact, it kind of continues to show up weeks later, the healing aspect of what happened that night in that arena. This permission to set down all that we have been carrying around. And that's a lot. We've been carrying around a lot over the last several years. Even with this teaching, there is still this picking up of worldly matters, and so we got permission that night to put that down. Permission to grieve and heal. Permission to play again. Like kids, to just have fun. And I think that the importance of that just that single moment to have permission to have fun is so crucial to right now, because I think it's actually that we have not taken the time for play. That not taking the time for play is actually what brought us collectively to where we are right now in the world of effects, in the world of conditions around us. We as a society have gotten really twisted up in a lot of ways in the past. And I think we've forgotten what's important in a lot of ways. And so, of course, that was the topic for the talk the very next day. Introducing the month theme of play was the talk title, Playing Twister with God, which seemed kind of silly to begin with, but I have no idea what that title meant to anyone else giving a talk, anyone else following the global themes that day. I have no idea what that meant for them. But for me, it was super clear that what that meant was that we have gotten things twisted, and that it is time to untwist those things, right? Because honestly, when small men need to prove themselves by getting into positions of power and declaring war on their neighbor, I think it's time to get things untwisted. When our trans children are having their lives threatened by the government itself on a daily basis, I think it's time to get things untwisted. When the people who committed atrocities in recent American history are so afraid to actually have it taught in schools that legislation is being passed to keep that from happening, it is time that we get things untwisted. When students' lives have become less important than some guy's right to own a gun, it is time to get things untwisted. When we keep insisting to our children that they keep doing more at the expense of their own mental and physical health for potentially the rest of their lives, I think it is time to get things untwisted. Somehow, we have gotten to this point in society where life must be taken seriously at all times. And I think somehow we have lost our way, that so many have forgotten basic truths of who we are. And so, yes, it is time to get things untwisted, to introduce some play into this thing called life. And so, really, this is a message about oneness and wholeness. What is oneness without wholeness? And what is wholeness without all of the pieces? What is life showing us? If we look at all of the pieces, including the conditions out around us, what are those conditions showing us? And I think that one of the things it is showing us, if we take the juxtaposition between being in that unitive experience of that rock concert at the same time as there are these crazy events going on, there is this untwisting that needs to happen when we allow play and laughter back into our lives, not necessarily just our individual lives, but our collective life. play and laughter in between, not even just within a group, but in between groups. That laughter really is how we untwist ourselves. Laughter is how we disarm ourselves for one another. Laughter is potentially the doorway to common ground and safe spaces between the groups that we somehow, somewhere have decided are the us and the them. And so today's talk is A Spoonful of Humor is the Medicine. And I think this is so interesting because laughter, it's all about laughter, right? And everybody laughs, literally everybody. Since the beginning of humanity, everybody has laughed. All cultures, all societies, all groups have had laughter. So I thought maybe we could get into the effects of laughter and just how exactly laughter becomes this way back to remembering, to this oneness, this wholeness, in a way that might actually work for all of us. So I thought maybe we could talk about the importance of laughter to us as individuals, that we could talk about the visual cues of laughter activating our prefrontal cortex, the place in our brain where we decide if something is actually funny or not. This then activates our limbic and motor limbic systems, which in turn create our physical and muscular and audible reaction of laughter. Or we could talk about how laughter releases endorphins through our opioid receptors, the same receptors that react to opioid drugs, and that laughter actually creates the same euphoric response and pleasure as opioids themselves. We could talk about and mention how laughter releases serotonin, which is critical to our mental health, creating a very similar effect to antidepressants, helping to restore balance and elevate mood. Or we could mention that as our mental health improves, that the body releases serotonin and our physical well-being improves. We let go of tension in our body, our muscles tend to relax, we begin to release stress, and often find ourselves in a general state of positive well-being. Or we could explain how laughter is good for the cardiovascular system by stimulating the body's natural anti-inflammatory responses. We could get into all of that. And yes, it pays to have really smart friends that you work with so you can have all of these notes without having to go actually look them up. But this is the science part of the science of mind, right? Where we continue to expand our knowledge and practices by including more and improving our science, right? This is the part, this is important for all of us. But our point here is actually bigger than that. So we could talk about those things, but there's more, right? We could talk about the effects of laughter on our group. We could even talk about the benefits of having a place to belong and laughing with those in that space with us. That anthropologically, the sound of laughter meant safety. That if you hear laughter, you can relax, you can let your guard down, and that this sound is actually what kept social groups together back in the day, the way back day. We could talk about how this psychological and physiological response has remained with us from the very early evolution of our brain through today. We could talk about how laughing demonstrates that we are included, that we belong, that it is safe to put our guard down, to set down our defenses and engage socially in healthy ways. And in many ways, this speaks to the psychological aspects of science of mind. And this too, we could focus on this for hours, right? But again, there is more. I think there is a bigger idea that is looking to come through all of us in this world right now. So what if we did take this a step further? What if we took this a step further from the importance of science of mind and laughter as an individual, bigger than the importance of science of mind and laughter as us as a group? But what if we took that step further than that? What if we set an intention to laugh with others? Those that we have somehow put into the category of other, those who for some reason or another are set outside of our in-group. Those who believe or think something different than you do, than I do. even those who see themselves as an other to you or I, right? These groups that as society we have decided are us and them. And so imagine if Putin had been taught at a young age that it was okay to laugh with others. Imagine if the adults in his life made it okay to be with and see those who were othered in his life. Imagine if the truth, as we know it, had been mirrored back to him as a child. If he had been shown that it was okay to be him, that he really had nothing to prove to anyone else or himself. Imagine if our states here, if our state governments were made, if the people in those governments were made to feel okay to express their sexualities in healthy ways at appropriate ages. That it's actually okay to laugh with those who didn't have the option to ignore their sexuality or gender. Imagine if throughout history, those who claimed whiteness were taught to laugh with those with differing skin pigmentations rather than being subconsciously threatened by it. Imagine if grown boys with guns were taught to laugh and express in vulnerable ways instead of repressing their feelings. Yeah, breathe. Oh, big ideas. Imagine what it would be different if we had this laughter first, if we could untwist. And yes, I recognize how ironic it is, how seriously we are taking the conversation of laughter and play. But this is serious business. Ernest Holmes says, "We heal thoughts, not people. The spiritual person is never sick. Spiritual healing consists of changing psychological thought patterns." The laughter of a child is as important to the universe as the creation of a planet. Yeah, and I think we can see that. We can see that directly, that laughter changes psychological patterns. Laughter changes our default reaction. And laughing as children, shows us what is safe, shows us that it is safe to be. And so laughter is as important as the creation of the universe. So what if play and laughter is exactly the thing we need right now? Rather than feeling guilty or helpless or whatever other feelings of compassion that we have for the things we see going on around us in the world of conditions. What if laughter and play is actually what is being asked of us right now? There is really something incredibly spiritual about the nature of laughter. It is healing. It is disarming. It brings us together. It is safe. Laughter pulls us into the present moment. It is meditative. It bonds us. It shows us the truth of ourselves and those laughing along with us. It strips away our insecurities if we let it, and it removes all of those things that otherwise might make us feel different, removing the seemingly necessary need to create us and them in order to feel safe. Laughter gives us that place to belong. So what if we were the ones to bring laughter with us, to intentionally bring all of this with us into conversations in groups that would otherwise be othered? What if we are the ones to create a place for others to belong, to feel seen and heard, to disarm the responses that would otherwise lead to getting things really twisted? So by bringing this truth with us, we are literally changing the makeup of our society. We are co-creating the future. And once again, the words of Ernest Holmes, there is a laughter of God. Let's laugh it. There is a song of the universe. Let's sing it. There is a hymn of praise. Let's praise it. There is a joy, a beauty. There is a deep, abiding peace. Let's experience it. Thank you. I think we're supposed to pray now. All right. So if you are willing, let's just close our eyes if you're comfortable and willing to do so. Let's bring our attention inward. Let's bring this idea of laughter, of co-creating the future, of peacemaking. Let us bring this inside. Recognizing that there is that thing within us that knows in every moment there is something greater going on than we have ever fully recognized, something greater than we could ever actually recognize. And whatever we call this, I know it is not any single one thing. It is not a being. It is not something that we can fully fathom, and yet it is everything that we speak. It is everything that we recognize. It is everything that we do and see. It is all of life. It is all of the experiences. It is the thing back of life and the back of the experience that creates life in this experience. It is that which is the thought, the blueprint. It is that which is the creative factor. It is that which lives and experiences. And it is so divinely perfect that it has built within itself this means of creating exactly what is needed in every single moment in order to continue creating and expressing a greater sense of itself. And that is who we are. That is what we are. That is why we are here, to create in every moment a greater experience of that which is, a greater experience of the all that there is. That it is through us, through mirroring back to one another life, feeding back the experience, being part of, feeling our way through this experience, that we get to create more joy, more love, more compassion, more empathy, more of the things that are only possible here in this world. And all of that is part of the whole. These are the pieces that make up the wholeness. All of life is included within this circle that we know as the all that there is, this never-ending, infinite way of being. And so I simply recognize that we as individuals, that we as a collective, that we as the larger society, we are the ones to co-create this new way of being that recognizes that it is safe, it is okay to engage with one another, to let down the barriers that have always presupposed some group of us and them. We are okay to claim who we are, to name ourselves, to label the way that our life shows up, and know that that does not set us apart from anyone else, that we are all pieces of this whole that would be completely different without every single one of us showing up authentically. And so it is in this authenticity in which life shows up that I simply express this greatest sense of gratitude, knowing that life is showing up in greater ways in every moment, and knowing that life is showing up through us in more authentic ways in every moment. Grateful to know that it is safer and safer in every moment, that more and more people recognize this truth in every moment. So with this gratitude, I simply let this idea, this thought, this word out into the world, out into the universe, knowing that it is literally changing society in this moment in the most perfect way. And so it is.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday morning so far. This next song is a jazz standard called Pennies from Heaven, written by Arthur Johnston. And I think my favorite lyric in the whole thing is, if you want the things you love, you must have showers. I hope you enjoy. Every time it rains pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade it for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So if you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Da 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 dee 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 da. Traded for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So if you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me.
Hi, folks. Reverend Barb's Wi-Fi went kaput, so I'm here to let you know that we are supported entirely by the generosity of our community, and we are grateful for your partnership in this. There are several ways that you can give. You can visit our website. That'll be in the chat. You can text the word GIVE using the number that's also in the chat. You can mail your gift to the office and the address will be there. And those are the ways you can give, so please do so. Give you a minute for that. I'd like to ask you to please place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. Spirit's abundance flows through me. Joyfully, I share my good. And we have
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
If you would like prayer after service with one of our practitioners, there's a link in chat. I am one of the practitioners today, and Deborah J. is also joining me today to give you prayer. Or if you'd like one of the practitioners to follow up with you, please email your request, and that will be in the chat as well. So just hear these words and take them into your heart. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all beings.
Spirit, know my name, call me home, light these darkened days. Oh Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Let's let love be our legacy. Let's let love be our legacy.
Thank you for being with us this morning. Have a blessed day and know that you are loved.